I am not even gonna hold y'all. Okay, this is my 6th time recording this. This is why I was like, oh, I don't want to get on YouTube and I only want to do audio, but this is me showing you that I'm trying to grow. Okay, so I don't know how this is about to come out, but I'm telling you now, no matter what it is, it's getting posted today. Okay, welcome to the Jennuine Life podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Nicole. Of course, you can call me Jen. And y'all, it has been 259 days. Yes, I counted since we last connected. I can't believe it either, but I'm here. And I think you'll be really excited to know that I'm here for good. Like, I'm not leaving. I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted, right? Like, I post on social media, I do all these things, but I really don't have much direction. I just posted what I felt like posting and I kept it moving. But I have really drilled down what I want to do. So I am going to be talking to you about that today. I'm going to be talking to you about life after layoff. I'm going to be talking to you about what I've been up to and some things that I've learned along the way. So really this episode is just going to be some good girl chat and us catching up and connecting and reconnecting with one another. So I cannot thank you enough for being here. If you are watching this on YouTube, I want to welcome you to my little corner of the internet and welcome you to this podcast, which is amazing if I do say so myself. We have a great group of beautiful souls here that love to live their lives genuinely and vibrantly and authentically in a way that feels good to them. And so that is really what this podcast is all about. And I bring to you different life stories and we just talk about life, and I provide resources to make sure that you stay on the positive end of things. We definitely tackle mental health and having anxiety, because I definitely deal with both here. And so we just kind of keep it real and talk about it all. So I do hope that you grab a snack. I do have my beverage with me, and let's get right into it. So I figured I would talk to you a little bit about life after layoff. My last podcast, I shared with you 5 reasons why I was glad that I was laid off. And while those reasons still stand, I would say that I've learned a lot along the way, but the good Lord above has been taking care of me every step of the way. This has not been easy by any means. If you have any friends that have experienced a layoff, especially a tech layoff right now, recruiter friends, just really anyone who's dealing with this job market, it's trash right now. I mean, just to be very honest with you. But I've had some really cool and beautiful moments as well along the way. And one of them being a few trips that were free for me to attend with one of my friends who is a full-time travel content creator, Colby. She had a +1 for a Princess Cruise trip. She was hired by Princess Cruises to create content. And so she had a +1, and she wanted someone who enjoyed cruising, but someone who also created content. And so I raised my hand and I was able to go with her. I actually filmed 3 vlogs about my time on that cruise. So if you are interested, I'll link all of that for you to check them out. But that trip completely took me out of my comfort zone, y'all. Like, I was I don't know if you've seen, I'll insert a picture, but it's like this little motorized bike that you have to go under the water for. And then you stick your head in like this helmet and you can ride around underneath the ocean. And to this day, cannot believe I did it, but I did. And, I'll show you that part too, but it was an amazing trip. And that was actually the first time that Colby and I had met each other in person. We had been following each other on Instagram, but that was my first time ever meeting her in person. And so it was just incredible. And now she's truly a friend that I cannot imagine not having in my life. So very grateful for her. What else have I been up to? While, I think you all know this, but when I did receive notice that my role had been eliminated, I was already in New Jersey visiting my parents. And so I actually ended up extending my trip. And even though I grew up in New Jersey, I used to work in New York and visit New York, I never experienced it as a tourist and just going around everywhere. And y'all, I had the best time. Okay. It was almost like I wanted to move back. Still contemplating it, to be honest with you. Please don't mind the dog. But I yeah, I don't know. New York has always presented just a different vibe. And I think when I left the Northeast, a lot of it is still with me, of course, but there are certain elements that I do miss. And I think I've become complacent living in the South. Things are just a little bit slower, and that hustle and grind is not obviously present down here. I think if you grew up north and came down here, you would know what I'm talking about. Like, 'cause I could hear somebody now, well, the hustle never leaves you, and it does after a while, right? At some point, you just want to slow down, and I felt like New York, New Jersey just kind of made me feel alive again. So I really, really appreciated that trip. But come February, I had an opportunity to go on another trip with Colby, and that was to the great state of Montana. And I had never been to Montana before, but she was out there to capture content for the National Black Skiers event, and I learned how to ski for the first time. Now, do I ever have to do it again? No. But when I tell you, I will definitely go back for like the après ski. Yeah, that's more my vibe. But totally loved Montana. I got to meet the team out there that put a lot of the events on. Verbo was out there, and Expedia, and it was just a great time. So, I share all this with you humbly, of course, but I want you to know that, God really took care of me. And in those days where I was feeling really down and I needed a break, these trips were presented and offered me, a chance to just let my hair down and continue to stay creative and be inspired and motivated and encouraged by others. And so I say that to you to remind you while things may look, and I don't know your situation, right? But like, if things don't feel right now, or maybe you're in a time of pivot or major change, or maybe you too have been laid off, I think it's super important to remain present and still aware of the blessings that are still around you. Like, I have not missed a meal. Things might have been late, but nothing has been taken away. And I'm grateful for all of it, And so I just wanted to share that with you, because I think sometimes when we're going through things, it's very easy to focus on what we don't have in the moment. And there's blessings literally all around us. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you. From there, February came around. I had taken the rest of Q4 off and just spent some time with family and friends for the holiday, which was absolute perfection. It was what I needed. And then right around February, I would say, is when I've really started going hard with like applying, fixing my resume, networking. And, the process is moving as slow as molasses. Okay. I ain't gonna hold you. It is a terrible feeling right now to know that you're super qualified for something and you're getting rejected. Y'all, I even got rejected via LinkedIn messaging. I literally had a first tier interview with this particular recruiter. I will not name the company, but terrible experience as far as like a rejection to me. I feel like I've always been the kind of recruiter, if you and I connected over the phone at that point, you deserve a phone call at least. Or, if we've had any kind of interaction outside of email, I feel like you should get a phone call rejection at that point. But anyway, I'm getting rejected because of the money. I think a lot of people are intimidated by where I've worked before, and they're afraid that I won't take a pay cut, or if I take the pay cut that I won't be there long. And that's simply not true. I'm at a place now where I'm just like, I need an opportunity, So I'm still applying. I'm still doing things. I do truly believe in my heart that something is coming down the pipeline. I feel really good about something that is that I'm currently in the process for. So just keep your fingers crossed for me. But yeah, I decided to really throw myself into content creation and bet on myself and see if I could take this somewhere as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a love-hate relationship with content sometimes, because I feel like we're bombarded with images that, of what a soft life should look like, or, it's a certain aesthetic that people just naturally gravitate to. And I don't always fit that aesthetic. and there are certain rules on social media. You know, I'm not a trendy kind of content creator, so very rarely are you going to find content where I'm like doing something that's trending, unless it's just like super fun, but that's just not me. I've always wanted to use social media as my safe space on the internet that was safe from like trolls, and people felt safe to comment and share like, oh my gosh, you know, I have depression as well. These tips really helped. Like, this is what I envisioned for my audience and myself, and just creating content that I feel good about, that's without restriction or caring about what time I posted and what platform needs this song and which one needs this song. I mean, there's so many things that goes into it, and sometimes my love for it goes out the door. I also, you know, I've said it maybe 5 times now, but, you know, I go through these depressive episodes where I don't want to talk to anybody and I don't want to film anything, and there's nothing to film because I'm in the bed and I'm not feeling life. And so for me, I still struggle with turning the camera on and showing that side when I just don't feel like it. And so I'm not gonna lie, I too am still working on how I want to show up, and a part of that has come really down to 2 things, and that's via this podcast and YouTube vlogs, and just sit down chit chat kind of videos, because right now that's what I'm missing on Instagram and TikTok. I feel like I am constantly chasing after an algorithm or chasing after what an audience needs or wants from me. And unfortunately, most of my audience on both of those platforms, well, no, not both, mainly Instagram, is filled with friends, you know, old schoolmates and family, and then people that I've worked with in the past. And so you'll hear this from anybody who creates content, but your best supporters are going to be strangers because a lot of times people will come on my page and they're like, oh, okay, like I can go see her on Saturday. I hang out with her. I have her number. I can call her. So like, you really don't feel drawn all the time to connect with the content. But I feel like YouTube is going to allow me to really build an audience of people who just genuinely want to hang out, right? They're not looking for me to be anything other than myself. And I'm not saying I can't completely do that on Instagram, but if you know. But like, some of the best videos of get ready with me's are people who start off in their bras and panties, right? Like, and it's not them, it's the fact that that's what people will, or they're going to gravitate to. It's just what it is. I will not show up that way. I can't, at least maybe not now. You know, if I drop maybe 10 or 20 pounds, maybe, who knows, your girl might show up in a push-up bra. But it works for some because that's the audience that they've built. So when I land on someone's page, I expect to see them start off this way because this is how it's always been. And many of their followers are also women. I have a split. So if you look at my analytics, it's like I think I'm like 53-47 split. And so I'm definitely not showing up in a bra and panties when the majority of my audience is not female, you know? So I feel like I'm rambling now, but I just wanted to kind of give you where my mind was at as far as content creation and where I'm focused. And that is truly on here. You know, I really like YouTube. I'm finding myself attracted to long form video. I love editing. I love telling a story. And one of my biggest goals this year is to create an environment that where I'm building a community. And let me also be very clear, because I'm just kind of thinking back on something that I've said. Anyone who supports my content, friend or foe, I don't care. I'm glad, whatever, if I post something that you resonate with, I'm happy, right? But I also realize that it's just like, you know how it is. It's like if you're someone who's trying to make music, or maybe you're trying to write a book, and your family and your friends know this is who you are, sometimes they're not always keen to support until like you hit it big, you know, and then it's like, I knew she could do it. And I feel like that's where I am on Instagram and TikTok. Like, it's just not fresh anymore. I've been on these platforms a little long. I need a refresh as well as a content creator, and I just need to show up and use a platform that's going to find the audience that is that gravitates to my content. And so, yeah, that's that. So I said all that to say, that I'm on YouTube mainly now. I will still show up on TikTok and Instagram because I just love reels and short form too. But right now, my soul is just loving long form content and connecting with people one-on-one and really building a community so that eventually I could take this thing full time and get my Lambo truck. Okay. I don't know why I want this Lambo truck. Y'all know I've always wanted a black Audi Q8. And then now I want a matte black Lambo truck. So I guess we could say you heard it here first. Because when I pull up in it, you can say, I remember on episode 43 of her podcast, that girl said she was going to get it. And I am. In a tiny house. It is what it is. But anyway, what's next? And I say all of this to say, child, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm taking it one day at a time. I am doing whatever I can to keep the lights on. I'm telling y'all, at one point, it was to the point where I was getting so desperate. I was contemplating putting feet pics up on Feet Finders. I still have my profile. I just couldn't do it. But I was contemplating selling feet pics. I don't know if you all are aware of this, but you can also sell panties as well. I'm going to let y'all marinate on that. I was going to sell panties. Now, there's ways around it, right? You got girls who literally sell panties, or you have ones who like buy fresh ones and sell them that way. I don't know what I was going to do. I'm going to just let you know that people sell panties, okay? But that's where I was. And every time I was getting desperate, I got a new client or something just popped off where I was like, okay, I don't have to do that, you know? But in these past 9 to 10 months, I can tell you that I have learned so much about myself, how resourceful I am, how resilient I am. And it just reminded me that whenever we go through things, whenever things are hard, there's always a positive on the other end of it. There always is, whether it's a lesson, an opportunity, a chance for you to rediscover yourself, your pivot, something. It always works out in the end for you. And I think one of the main things that I'm telling you today that I want you to take away from our conversation is that it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay if you have to say no and take a step back in order for you to focus on a new goal or a new level for yourself. You do not have to be everywhere all the time. You don't have to be everything to everybody. And sometimes you just have to take a moment and prioritize yourself, especially if you are considered the person that is the light, the room shifter, the energy bringer, right? If you're the one that everybody depends on to bring the vibes, you absolutely have to take some time to yourself, because people will drain you and you'll have absolutely nothing left for yourself. And I think that is where in the beginning I was just like, oh my God, like I need to be here. I need to do this. And I can't. Like, this is definitely a season in my life of prioritizing Jennifer. That's it. And until I get back to where I want to be and goals start getting checked off the list, it just is what it is, you know? And also defining what success looks like to you, I think is going to be extremely important to you. It is something that I had to do. We are constantly bombarded with images of what's pretty, what's handsome, what a soft life should look like, how your living room should look, you know, that beige, white, clean aesthetic that we're like seeing constantly on the internet. Or, you know, are you driving this kind of car? You should have this penthouse by this age. You should be living in this city. You should be living here. I'm here to tell you that you can debunk all of that, okay? Now, if that's something that you want and that you desire, please, by all means, go for it. But if you're somebody who loves to live in the burbs and you like to have 8 cats and maybe you like a very vibrant and colorful living room with 15 different plants around, and maybe you love wearing a muumuu and you like wearing perfumes from Walmart, There's absolutely nothing wrong with any of that. And you still have a story to tell, and you still have a voice that needs to be heard, and your life still matters. You didn't fail. And I think for me, it was almost like, gosh, like I can't do the things that I used to do anymore. I can't get my nails done every 2 weeks. I can't, get my hair done every 4. I'm stretching that out now. And gosh, I wasn't able to buy the latest drop from Target or the mall or the newest sneakers. And so in my mind, there was no content to be created because who cares about my life? But at the same time, somebody does. And we want to see it. And I think it's uber important, especially now when we're bombarded with these societal norms, air quotes for those of you listening via headphones. It is so important to figure out what success looks like to you, because if not, you're going to allow the internet to dictate it for you, and you're going to constantly be chasing after something that you really don't want. And I want to be very clear. If I called out anything that was your aesthetic, I am not shady. Okay. I'm just saying that I think a lot of times we can be coerced into what we believe is important via social media, when in reality it's, can you sleep at night? Are you a good person? How do you treat people? Can you, are you honest? Do you live a life of integrity? Those things make you successful and important. And then everything else is just a perk. So I really want you to take that and hold on to it. Define what success looks like for you, but also know that you're not meant to do anything alone, and connecting with others is the way to be. I think that's all that I have for you today. I think. But what does this mean for us, right? And so what does this mean? It means that I'll be showing up again every Sunday. Podcast episodes will be uploaded every Sunday here on YouTube and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And then I also will be focusing on vlogging, which I love doing. So you'll find vlogs here weekly. I may do a day in the life vlog, resets, product reviews, clothing hauls for my plus size girlies, and of course traveling, vlogs and everything in between. So it's really just my life. And so if you just want to tune in and feel the vibes, I welcome you to stay a while. And I cannot thank you again for tuning in. And I look forward to connecting with you again next week right here on YouTube and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Again, my name is Jennifer Nicole. You can, of course, call me Jen. And I look forward to hanging out here with you next week. Keep your peace, stay positive, and live genuine. Bye.